welcome to the Creative Obsession. My name is Carrie. I thank you so much for being here. It's been quite a while since my last episode was recorded, and we're into summer now. I am off school until September, so it's time to get crafty as much as I can. Today is June 25th, 2019, episode 71, I think. And thank you so much for being here and for stopping by and hanging out with me. I've got quite a few projects to share. This is my channel where I share all the creative things that I make and works in progress. So there is some knitting, some crocheting, and some painting, and upcoming spinning maybe. So anyway, thanks for being here. It has been a while since I last recorded. Last time I recorded was in May, like mid-May, so it's been a little while. I have finished some things and I've got some new stuff on the needles. So let's get started. Today is raining. It wasn't supposed to rain today, and today is raining, which is nice. We have had some really nice weather, and the next couple of days is going to be kind of rainy, but that's okay with me. It's nice and cool, and I can't really take Violet out for a very long walk. I mean, I could, but I don't really like to walk in the rain, so we make it short. And she, for some reason, is hanging out downstairs, so we're going to call it good. I'm apologizing ahead of time if I keep adjusting my glasses, but my glasses are broken, and so this stem is glued and is ready to fall apart any minute, so they don't fit on my face quite right. So fingers crossed they stay together long enough for me to get my new glasses. We'll see what happens. So that kind of sucked. Okay, so let's start with, I was going to get the quilt blocks. Hang on a second. Okay, I last episode talked about these quilt blocks that I had made, and I had made them incorrectly. I did take them all apart and fix them. So I don't know if you remember from last episode, but instead of this looking jagged, it just sort of went at an angle. So they look much better. I'm glad I took the time to take them all apart. So they're all done. And that's as far as I've gotten. That's the only sewing that I have done. That is part of Forest Friends by Elizabeth Hartman. And all I have left are the fireflies. So those are maybe halfway done. So that's my goal. One of my goals for this summer is to get the blocks done. So finish the firefly, get those blocks done. Sorry for the noise. And then I can work on putting it all together. Sorry. When you don't do this regularly, you do get out of practice, and I've heard other people mention that as well when they don't stay with it regularly. So it gets a little rusty, but I did finish my harvest sweater. So my harvest sweater is a sweater pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And it's a worsted weight sweater, and I doubled up fingering weight yarn to get a worsted weight yarn, and it's all done. And it fits me really nicely. The only thing I have left to do is put on a button, and one of the reasons why I haven't done it, I can try it on for just a little bit, but it is still warm even though it's raining, is because there's a gal at Knit Night that says that she thinks she has a vintage button that'll look really good with it. So I'm kind of waiting, but as you can see, maybe I can't go very far. Okay, let me do that. I have my long arm area. My long arm area is fenced off, so Violet can't get underneath it because she likes to play underneath there, and she just doesn't need to be under there, and so then it becomes a chase game for me to get her out. So instead I just fence her off. So I need a button. It's awesome. It fits me really nice. I wouldn't mind making another one. It was a fun project to do. Like I said, I used 2 strands of fingering weight yarn. Oh yeah. And I only made the sleeves like 3/4 sleeves, which is perfect for me because I always hike my sleeves up to that length anyway. What you doing, bud? Hi, hon. She's come in like, who are you talking to? I'm just talking to myself. You should be used to that. So I did make a project page for that on Ravelry for all the specifics. I didn't make it from the armhole down. I made it 3 inches shorter than what they called for, knowing that with the superwash yarn it was going to stretch a little, and I'm not very tall, so I didn't need it to be super long, and it hits me exactly where I need it to hit me. So I'm gonna see what this gal at Knit Night has for a button, and then if not, I'm gonna either keep searching for a button, and there's somebody else at Knit Night that was making a sweater. No, she made an iPad cover, iPad sleeve kind of thing, and she crocheted a button. And so she says there's YouTube tutorials for that, and so I thought I can even just do that, crochet a button, and then it's out of the same yarn as the sweater. So I used this along with which is just an 80/20 fingering weight yarn, along with an undyed fingering weight yarn in the merino cashmere nylon base. So it's very soft. I like the way that the fabric looks and feels, and it's just perfect. So I have almost a whole skein left because I only needed to use it for like the last little bit of a cuff. It's like 96 grams or something like that. So I'm going to make sure that I don't need any of it for making a button or anything, and then I might do a giveaway with this, because I don't need to make anything else with the same color, but somebody might want a pair of socks, or this could go with something else that you have. So stay tuned for that. I don't want to prematurely give it away until I'm sure that I don't need it. So that was exciting, and as soon as I got that off the needles, I wanted to put on another sweater. So I had the idea that I wanted to do something with color work, and I've mentioned that before. And so I had just recently purchased yarn from Trilogy Yarns, and where's her thing? Trilogy Yarns. She's out of Spokane, Washington, so kind of local. She's in the Pacific Northwest. And she had a 40% off sale in her Etsy shop. So that's crazy, because that means she's making like zero money on it, but I mean, who am I to pass that up? So Nancy had the sale. I bought some yarn, and I got my yarn. That's my color. And I thought I must be in a like corally orangey sort of mood, because I don't know. But I love it. And I thought this would be perfect for some color work. I didn't have an intention for the yarn when I bought it. I did get an MC on base. And so then I saw, with this in my mind's eye, saw a deep blue, teal, water kind of color with it. And of course I didn't have any, so I thought, well, I can just dye some. So I did, and I dyed that color. Doesn't have a name or anything, because I just kind of winged it. And it was interesting because I had to dye this differently than the way I was dyeing when I was dyeing for my shop. Because when I dyed for my shop, I had a supply of stock dye, which meant that I had jars of liquid. So the dye that you dye yarn with comes in a powder form, and you have to dissolve it in hot water, boiling water. And so I carefully measured, I weighed out water, and I weighed out the dye. So every time I made my stock, it was always the same. And so then I had built my recipes on the fact that I used this watered dye. So many cc's of whatever dye and water, and so that I could always have repeatable colorways. Well, when I stopped dyeing for my shop, I dumped all that stuff out because it won't keep forever, and I wasn't using it, and it was taking up space, and so I dumped all my jars out. Well, now I don't have stock to dye with. That's what I was used to dyeing with, because it was already diluted. I had recipes and all that, and I thought, well, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind, and I'm just going to use a measuring spoon and put the dye directly in my dye bath, in my pot of hot water. It'll be close enough. It's not an exact science, because depending on how much that spoonful is packed, the dye powder is super, super fine. So you could pack a little bit more, maybe not have it quite as level, whatever. There's going to be some variations, but I thought not enough to worry about. I'm not going to repeat this colorway. I'm just going to use it for my sweater. So I'm just going to go for it. And it turned out to be exactly the color that I wanted. So it's got some different shades in it because the technique I used is I put turquoise and black to get sort of a, I don't want to say muted because it's a very rich color, but more of an ocean blue than a turquoise, if that makes sense. Put my yarn in that and like got it all. So there are some lights and dark spots based on how the dye is actually sticking to the yarn. When that all exhausted, I pulled it out and put some navy blue in the water, put my yarn back in. So I over dyed it with some navy blue and it gives it some variation in color. It's exactly how I wanted it to look. Now, I can't repeat this because, I mean, I could repeat it kinda because I know I used this little teaspoon, or not, it wasn't even a teaspoon. I have teaspoons that say smidge and dash and something like that. So it's like a smidge of this and a dash of that kind of a thing. But it worked and it's the exact color I wanted. And so I looked on Ravelry for a pattern. I wanted a color work pattern, just a pullover, comfy, smooshy sweater. I have issues with the necklines. A lot of sweaters nowadays are being designed with a really big dropped armhole. So it's real slouchy, which I don't care for because when you lift your arm, your whole sweater goes up and then your gut's hanging out, and I don't want to do that. Or the necklines are real wide, and so that just won't stay on my shoulders because I'm not real wide from here to here. So I need something that's going to fit somewhat closer. So anyway, the search was on, looking through Ravelry, and then I found this pattern. And it is the Dark Water. There you go. Dark Water by Jennifer Steingass, who is Knit Love Wool. And I don't know if, I mean, I liked it because I thought the design was pretty but yet simple enough. And the color was like the kind of the color I had dyed. So it kind of caught my eye and I thought, okay, let's try that. I think it'll be really pretty. So I immediately started it as soon as my yarn was dry enough to start working on it. And I am probably 2/3 through the color work. And it's stunning, stunning. Look at how beautiful that color work is. So that is going to be a good color for me. And it gives me a chance to use these colors that just by themselves wouldn't probably look very good on me. But as an accent color, it's perfect. So I'm on row 30 something. I don't remember. Of 52 rows of color work. So I'm getting towards the end. I think after these diamond kind of shapes, you do this again down here. So pretty close. I'm finding it very easy. Her repeat's only 10 stitch repeat. So, you know, you just do it over and over and over again. Now, fingers crossed, this fits me because I did do a gauge swatch. And my gauge was tighter than hers, but I didn't want it to be any looser. I didn't want to go up a needle size because I felt like it would be too loose of a gauge for what I want. And it would end up stretching out. It wouldn't hold itself together as well. So I figured my gauge, how many stitches per inch kind of thing I got. And to get the size I wanted, kind of like how many stitches I would need. I looked on the pattern for when you separate for the sleeves, because then that's right about at your bust level. And I saw how many stitches were on the needles for the different sizes. So based on my gauge, I went up a size, maybe 2 sizes than I normally would have because I'm knitting tighter. Fingers crossed that's really happening because I haven't taken it off yet. I kind of want to wait until I get the color work done so that I can put it on maybe some waste yarn or another needle to be able to go across my whole like arms and everything to see how that feels. I want it to be a loose fitting sweater that I just kind of like, when I'm just at home, I'm just gonna knock around and wear it because I think it'll be really warm. It is all MCN. It does kind of have this little halo. I was willing to do that because I knew I could glean it and it wasn't going to be, I don't know, just sort of added to the coziness of it. It's so super soft, as you can imagine. So, like I said, fingers crossed that that's all going to work out. So far, her pattern's been really easy for me to follow, which is nice. I took it camping with us. We were just camping this last weekend, and I was able to sit and do some of it because once you have that 10 stitch repeat in your head, you're just doing it over and over and over again. I do like the fact, and this is my first color work sweater. I have done a little bit of color work on some mitts and stuff, but you know how you usually get that raglan shaping? So you have like yarn overs or whatever, stitches kind of go from here to here. You don't have that on this because that would disrupt that patterning. So the way she has you do the increases and stuff, you don't really see it. So it'll be interesting to see how that fits. I may even do a little bit, I don't think she has it, no, a little bit of the design, maybe that around the cuffs, just to just bring that color to the cuff area. But we'll see. I will for sure have plenty of yarn because you don't use nearly as much yarn for your color work as you do your main color. But when I bought that yarn, I bought 2 skeins. And I want to do a giveaway with the other skein. So the other skein, this is what it looks like. It's called Cosmic Sunshine, and it's from Trilogy Yarns. This is an 80/20. It's just a really pretty color. And it's very summery. So it's Cosmic Sunshine. I was going through stuff looking for something else. I wanted to try and find my needle cozies. You know I have some. And I don't think they're being used in projects, but I need one. So if I can't find any, I'm going to make one. But while I was searching, I came across this bag that I had made years ago, and I thought, perfect combination of a giveaway. It's bicycles, it's got the orange and everything, and I thought that they went together. So I'm going to do a giveaway, and it's going to be a giveaway on Ravelry. So if you want the yarn and the bag, go to Ravelry. We have a Creative Obsession podcast group. If you go to the groups tab, you can find me if you're not already joined. And I will have a tab or a tab open for the giveaway. And I want to know what your favorite summertime activity is. I'll pick a winner on Tuesday, July 16th, 2019. So let me write that down so I remember. There will be a tab open on Ravelry for the giveaway if you would like to win the skein of yarn with the bag for your summertime activity. Go there and enter. And I will do random number generator, and I will not notify you if you won if I haven't recorded in the meantime. So anyway, I have had to do that before. I had a giveaway around Valentine's Day, I think it was. And I had to just notify the winners because I wasn't going to be recording. But I don't forget about you. You're still there. I did just start yesterday a new project because Andrea Mowry came out with a new cowl pattern that I like it. I like it a lot. Now I'm out of one of the colors of ink on my printer, so it won't print in any color because you're missing one color. But it's her Montana Mountain Cowl. I'll put a color picture in. So it's fingering weight yarn. It's mosaic style knitting. And she did it with spin cycle yarns, which I don't have and can't afford. So I dug through my stash to see what is it that I could make it with. That's as far as I got. So I can't really show you anything because I have the purple as the provisional cast on, and then there's like 3 rows. So it's still a work in progress, but I am using, I can see if I can show you. It wound up really loosely, so I have to put a cover on, which is what I was looking for when I found the bag. I know I have a yarn cake cozy kind of thing. Can't find them. But this is a gradient from Wendy's Wonders. She's on Etsy. It doesn't have like a colorway name, but it gradiates from this orange and it goes into like a burgundy to purple to like a teal into a green. And I thought, well, this seems like it would be a fun pattern to shift gradient wise, which you can't see in my black and white picture. So let me try that. And I think it would be a really pretty fall cowl. So after a couple of attempts of matching something with it, I decided to go with this, which is a yarn out that was left over out of my shop. That was, I can't remember the name of it. Doesn't really matter because you can't get it. But I think it'll be really good because I wanted something light enough to be contrasting, but that went with all these colors. So I think it's going to be really cool. The thing that's fun is Leslie gave me this project bag. So that goes really well. The pin, look at that pin. That's from my friend Lori. That went really well with it. And I'm using my s'more little mouse progress keeper that Leslie gave me. She just talked about it on the Naughty Knitwits' last podcast, because I don't remember who this was from. No, wait a minute. I don't remember. I'll look it up and put it down there. But it's like a little mouse, but he's a marshmallow s'more. So that's my beginning of round marker on this. So super fun. So like I said, I've only gotten a couple rounds on it, but it is my newer obsession. And I thought, okay, don't start a new project. You've got that colorwork sweater, but I kind of felt like I needed a break from it a little bit. So I did. And you know what? Why not? Because it's not always about finishing. It's about the process, right? And the fact that all those parts just kind of went together just makes it cool. Giveaway. Okay. I did get a lot of work done on my crocheted blanket. So let me show that to you. This was a blanket that I started a while back. So my little progress keeper here, he's my little llama. I think Lori gave that to me too. I had only done this much when I last showed you, but now I've got that much done. So this has been something I do really enjoy working on. It's nice and soft. It's pretty mindless at this point. I do have to look, like I can knit without looking as long as I'm just doing knitting. But the crochet I have to look. But it's a good project to do if I'm talking or needing to, pay attention to something else. I can do this. But I did let me stand up. I did put it away for a little bit because I started on that sweater. But isn't that pretty? I do, in a way, now that it's getting bigger, kind of wish that I followed. This is a pattern by Attic24. It was supposed to be the dune blanket, but when I ordered the yarn, I ordered the wrong colorway batch. So I'm making the dune blanket with the cupcake color bundle. So then when I got the yarn, it comes with the pattern for the cupcake blanket. Hang on, I'm on a funky stool. And it takes a little bit to get on. Okay. And she showed, you put these colors together, and I wasn't sure that I liked it. So I thought, let me just do more of a color wash. Well, I think that it makes it look a little young because of the way the colors are. So it's okay. I do like the colors. I think it would have looked different had I mixed the colors up a little bit differently instead of trying to do like a color wash. It doesn't matter. It's for laying on the couch or, sitting and watching TV. So it doesn't really matter. What is that? Maybe a third of the blanket. I haven't worked on it for a couple of weeks because I was finishing my harvest sweater, and I started the new sweater, and that was what I was working on. Plus it's getting a little big, and on days that's kind of warm, it's not something I really want to have on my lap, but I've sat outside on the patio and worked on it, and it's been nice. Okay, that goes with that. Let's see. I don't think I've mentioned back last year sometime, I supported on a Kickstarter for a electric spinning wheel. And I thought, well, you know, because when you do a Kickstarter, and I've never done one before, but when you do a Kickstarter, you're pledging some money so that this person has money to then go off and make whatever they want to make. And so it's an electric eel, which there are electric eel spinning wheels out there, and this is the Nano, so it's small. It's like this big. I haven't got it yet because the parts are being shipped from China right now as we speak. And so it was supposed to come like mid-July, but it's looking like it's going to be more into August because things got a little bit delayed on his end. So in preparation for the fact that I'm going to have a little spinning wheel to learn to spin on, I have tried with the drop spindle, and I know it takes practice, but I just think for myself and how I like to do things, and that a spinning wheel is going to be a way to go. This only takes up this much room as opposed to like a big one. Now, you know, you can spin. The spindles are going to be a little bit smaller, so I'll have more spindles put together, but it didn't cost me that much to kickstart it. And it gives me a chance to at least try that. If I really get into spinning and think I need a bigger wheel and whatever, then I can go from there. But it's a good way for me to start. So I shopped for some fiber because I knew that my spinning wheel was going to need fiber to spin with. So look at this. I got this from Nanette Wake's studio. She's on Etsy. She's also local up in Washington. Look at that. That's going to be so cool. Okay, so it's merino micro merino, which means it'll be really soft. Look at that little pop of orangey yellow with the lavender. Oh, that's going to be so pretty. So I'm not going to use this as my first spin because I know it's going to take practice. So I have some fiber that I bought to try and do my Turkish spindle with and my drop spindles in general. And I'm going to use that. I've got a pull worth. I also ordered a couple of bats, braids, a couple of these things from Blue Moon Fiber Arts. So I should be getting those pretty soon with different fiber content. One's got some silk in it. One I think is a Pullworth. I don't remember now because I ordered it a little while ago, which means I should be getting it pretty soon. So I'll have some different fibers to try, and we'll see. So, you know, it's like I said, it's going to be August-ish by the time I get it. I'm pretty early in the number sequence to when I get it, but we'll see. I'll get it. Unfortunately, I really wished it was going to come in July because I have summer off and I could spend time really kind of learning it. But that's okay. I'll have time. It'll be something I can sit and do. And because it's little, I can take it outside if I want to sit outside, and that way Violet can play and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to look at my notes. Hang on a second. So fiber-wise, that's all I have. I did finish a couple of my dot painting things that I've shown in the past. And I did show these on Instagram, so sorry if it's a repeat, but I did this mug that's got my tools in it. So I use different tools. These are ones I got on Amazon. They're dotting tools. They're just a plexiglass rod. So the size of the end is the size of dot you make. So I've got, comes with different sizes of that. These are styluses, and they are like, I guess for putting dots on your nail polish or something. So they have different size balls on the end, which makes different size knots. And then I also have these plastic crochet hooks, same kind of deal on the end. So this holds my tools. It was interesting to do something on a rounded surface. You know, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get better. I wanted to try doing somewhat of a landscape. So I've got that one. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Like I said, I'm learning with each one. I'm not expecting it to be perfect. That's another little mandala style on a little mini canvas. So I had fun working on those. I've got a... Sorry, that was a bigger gasp than it needed to be. It's only... God, maybe you would have thought that I just dumped, you know, precious cargo. My plastic sticks fell over. Oh my gosh. Call an ambulance. That was a little overreactive. Anyway, I'm having fun doing it. I haven't sat down to do it in a little while because I was getting ready for camping and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much all I've got for now. We've got some more camping trips coming through the summer. I hopefully will have pictures. I've either put it in the beginning or I'll put it at the end here of some beautiful, beautiful scenery that I saw on this last camping trip. We were in Central Oregon and hiked up to the top of Black Butte. So it's just a cinder cone. So from lava, that whole area is like very lava-y. And it's a big butte, it's a dome. And we hiked to the top of that so you could see 360 degrees all the way around. A cool old like fire lookout thing up there. And then there's an active fire lookout that sits up there that you couldn't go poke around in because they're working in there. So anyway, that was really fun. We camped on the lake and it's just so gorgeous. So got some more camping trips planned for the summer, which will be fun. Violet did pretty well. She got super dirty, but that's okay. It was camping, but she had fun. So I did celebrate with my friends, Leslie, Michelle, and Lori. They came over and celebrated my birthday and gave me way too many presents and thoughtful gifts, and was very touched. So that was wonderful. And I don't have anything else, so I'm gonna go check on what my pup's doing. I hope your summer is off to a good start wherever you are. Thank you again for coming and stopping and sitting through this and joining me. And I hopefully see you more sooner than later. So have a good summer. I'll see you soon.